All right, guys, let's get started. So it looks like we have our two of our favorite folks already online. So that's good enough. So we are going to be recording this and then posting it on our all our social media along with our Discord. So just for you guys, we have uh, a new initiative that we've been working for weeks and weeks now, which is called Road to a Million Club. So it's based around, so we're going to have a website which is nearly completed now, and we have a Discord server that we have set up. So we are going to be all of our analysis, all of our everything that we do on our Telegram channel, we are going to be then broadcasting everything on our Discord server instead. So right now there is a big drawback. There is a big negative with the Telegram that on our channel users are not able to communicate with us in an effective manner. So anytime they want to communicate or have some kind of feedback, they have to send us individual messages, which are not really visible to all the other members. And we want to change that. We want us to be a community, not just a one-way street where we give out signals and you follow. We want this to be a cooperative, more of a co-op community that kind of comes together and makes lots and lots of money and pips together with sharing ideas with each other. So it's a community for the long term. And that is why we have named it the way we have Road to a Million Club. There are going to be multiple paths, but our goal is the same, to get to that $1 million mark. So let's actually, why don't I show you guys what the Discord, I'm not going to show you the other site yet. It's not there yet. I'm going to show you the Discord server. So this is the Discord server. This is what it looks like. So right now what you're looking at is the market analysis channel. So it has everything that we are working on, all the content that we are creating in regards to market updates. Whatever setup we are seeing in the market, we come in and with a little commentary and with a little description, we put it out here. And we've been doing that all last week. We are also posting on Telegram, but it first appears here and then it goes to the Telegram channel. But in the Telegram channel, you cannot really communicate or say anything. Right now, it's not public yet. But if you guys want to join sooner than everybody else, you can join. So all you have to do is just go to your web browsers and just type in edge.forex, and that's it, edge.forex, and hit enter. What you'll see is an invitation to our Discord server. All you have to do is just join, and that's it, you're in. So it'll give you a little sneak peek of what exactly we are doing and what are in process of actually creating. So what you can do is, right now the only channel that is up and running, and which is, you'll see some content and you get some really good stuff, is the market analysis. And starting Monday or Tuesday I would say, we will start seeing some content on high road, middle road, and low road channels also, with all the signals. And what you can do is, anytime you're coming here, we can do a reply to any of our messages, to any of our posts, and then you can start participating, either adding to what we have said or done, or ask questions and have a dialogue started at that point. So that way, not only you will benefit, everybody else who's following that topic or that channel in general will also benefit. So that is going to be a one biggest game changer that we are going to have. So based on the questions asked, and if it warrants that I create a small descriptive video or an audio, I would do that, or a team member from edge.forex would do that for you guys. So idea is to create that sense of community that, hey, anytime that we are sitting, as you all know, that forex trading is the most loneliest of professions. And then if we have a community, we can hold each other's hands and make sure that we are all moving towards that one goal. All right, guys. So do join, and all you have to do is, if you don't have either install Discord on your phone or on your PC. You can even do it on the web. You don't have to install the application if you don't want to. So all you have to do is, on your website browser, just type in edge.forex. That's it. Hit enter. you will see an invitation code or invitation button. Let's see what happens, because I'm already assigned to it. So let's see what happens when I type in edge.forex. So I put in edge.forex in my browser. It takes me directly to the Discord channels right here. Because I'm already signed up with it, if you are not signed up, you would see something like that, hey, it's an invitation. All you have to do is just click here and you will be signed up to the server. So that introduced, let's look at what's happening, actually what happened during the past week. And the past week, more than Forex, guys, it was the stock market that was making all the news, and that was actually really creating a lot of havoc in the market. The S&P 500, the Dow Jones, and the Nasdaq. Initially, 3-4 days of the week, they were going down, and they went down hard, really hard. So you're looking at the daily chart of S&P 500. If you've been following my work recently, that I've been predicting these moves, that hey, markets are topping, the charts are looking very top heavy right now, correction is in order, and that's exactly what's happening right now. We are in the middle of a correction, even though on Friday there was a huge bounce back of over 1%, but that doesn't mean it's over. The correction is over. It's anything but over. So you're looking at a daily chart. So I'm actually going into the the third S&P outlook sooner than, because it's kind of fitting right in. So if you're looking at the daily chart of S&P 500, it's not really telling you a whole lot. It's just looking like it's going higher, highs, lows, another high, another low. Now, is this move here, is it a higher move, or is it a reversal, or is it just a consolidation on a downward move? So how do we do that? We need to go in to a smaller time frame. So let's look at a smaller time frame, like a 4-hour time frame. So that's looking a bit of a congestion here. So let's go even smaller time frame and see how things actually look. Let's go look at a 1-hour chart. Okay, so here things are getting a little more descriptive, that hey, you can tell that yes, it is forming a little flag here, and this is what's called a bearish flag. So now the chances are more than 50%, because it's already broken down into the previous lows. See, if you look at the chart, these were the previous, that's the support right there. So it's broken through that support. Now it's going back up and testing that support, and then ideally the next move, based on logic and my experience, should be lower. Will it be lower? We don't know that, but right now we're still testing that support. The support is broken. Now it's acting as resistance. So now we have to see that it bounces a little lower, and if it breaches the lower flag line, it's time to sell, and it's time to sell hard, because next stop is going to be at least 60-70 points lower. So looking at this chart is telling me that it's an hourly chart, is broken through the previous. See, every time if you look at from left to right, at no time, every time there is a correction, it's not broken the previous low, except here. It's broken the previous low, it's gone lower, and now it's consolidating and making that bearish flag, which usually 8 out of 10 times results in further downside. So how much downside? I think at least 60-70 points, 2-3% is absolutely guaranteed once it breaks that downward the channel, or the downward line, the lower line of the bearish flag. So that said, there is a lot of political turmoil that is happening, because Biden has now stepped out, and Kamala Harris has stepped in as the front runner of the presidential race, and the race is very tight. Even though I may have my own biases, but I cannot really say who's going to win. I know is more than likely Trump is going to win, and that is going to be very bullish for the US dollar. It's going to be very bullish for the stock markets, and we can discuss that a little later. But as of now, it's looking like Trump's going to win because everything that I see on that Kamala Harris, she's not making a very good impression in front of the investors and in front of the donors. Even though in the polls she may be a little ahead of Donald Trump, but in reality, because she's not pulling the kind of numbers that they need for the donations, she's not pulling the kind of support that she needs from the grassroots, because she's flip-flopping on her stance when it comes to border control, when it comes to immigration, when it comes to spending. She's all over the place. So when what voters don't like is uncertainty. And on the other hand, with the assassination attempt on Trump and him taking a stand and sticking by it, is saying a lot for his character as a leader. We may hate him. I hate him personally. At a personal level, absolutely hate the guy. But we have to give it to him that whatever he says, he sticks by it. But on the other hand, Kamala Harris, she's all over the place, and that's not good for markets. And that's not good for the currency market. So remember, currency markets, they like certainty, they like stability, and that, as of now, as of this moment, it seems like it's going to come with Trump and not with Harris, because even the crypto market is standing next to Trump because of his endorsement of cryptos. And like people like Elon Musk, people like all the big wigs of the cryptos, they are giving their backing to Trump and not to Harris, which is not looking good for the Democrats. So that said, so there's a lot of political turmoil ahead of us, which also tells me that the markets and S&P 500 is heading lower. And you know what's making higher highs and did not have a correction and going up is the Russell 1000. What is Russell 1000? Is the 93% of the top 100 companies. They form the Russell 1000 group. And that index is going higher. So what does that tell us? That tells us that people are going out of the tech stocks. People are moving out of risky stocks, which are low caps or seasonal. They're going into the big names like Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson. They're going to big names like Ford, GM, which are tried and tested names of decades and decades and decades, because they're looking for safety. Anytime you're looking for safety, markets tend to go lower. And what gains out of that is the US dollar, because when you're selling something in the stock market, the other hand, what you're gaining is US dollar. So the demand for US dollar is increased when there is a sell-off in the market, because on the other side of the trade is the US dollar. So you're selling your stocks, you're buying US dollar. So you're buying US dollar, there is a demand for US dollars, and that's what raises the price of and demand for US dollar in the marketplace. So that's what we are expecting going forward. So there is the rotation out of S&P 500, there's rotation out of Dow Jones and Nasdaq, and there's rotation going into US dollar, Swiss franc. Right now, you can see how strong the Swiss franc is, and that's also one of the things that people run after when they are risk averse. So nobody wants to be in stocks right now. That's why they're going down. Gold, we'll talk about gold in a little bit, but stock market, I think it has a lot further to go, at least in the short term, 2 to 3%, in the middle to long term, more like 15 to 20%. So there's a lot of money to be made if that's your game, which is the stock markets. So next on my agenda today to talk was, before we go talk about Canadian dollar, and before I forget, I wanted to talk a bit about China and how it affects commodities, and then in turn affects the Australian dollar. So China, they are clearly in recession. Their construction industry is in shambles, and they are getting government bailouts left and right, and they got into so much panic that they came out earlier in the week and dropped interest rates unannounced. So it was not even time for them to come out and have a decision or anything. They just came out unexpectedly just to calm the markets down, and they dropped their interest rates like anything, and which is saying a lot about China. And also the imports, they have drastically reduced when it comes to raw material used for construction purposes. And majority of the imports for construction, which is iron ore, lumber, and plastics, it all comes from Australia and New Zealand. So now those currencies are looking very, very fragile. And Australian dollar has taken a lot of beating recently, and I think it's just getting started because China's economy is not about to do an about turn or get better anytime soon. It's gone for at least the remainder of the year. So for the next 6, 8, 9 months, Chinese economy is toast. So we are looking. So there is a theme that is building here because we are getting into a recession, and how I think we are getting into a recession, I will cover that today for sure. There is something very, very important that's unfolding in the market, and that is going to be a game changer in the coming weeks and months. So I think I spoke a lot about S&P, and I spoke about Australian dollar and how China slowdown is going to affect the Australian dollar in a negative manner. And then we'll talk about rate cuts also, but I want to get into Canadian dollar now. So you guys know, I'm not sure if you guys do or not, but Canada is heavily dependent on its trade with the other North American countries, namely United States and Mexico. So there is a NAFTA, which is the used to call NAFTA, now it's called something else, North American Free Trade Agreement, where goods and services can flow rather freely between the three countries. So America, the US, is now standing on the cusp of recession. And that has already started because I can see things on the ground. Has severely dampened the demand for the raw materials that Canada exports. So what does Canada export? Oil is number one export to the US. The way things work is, even though US has its own oil, Canada doesn't have the capacity to refine a lot of oil that it produces. So all that crude oil gets extracted out of Canadian sands or Canadian deep sea oil rigs or traditional oil rigs, and is shipped over to different oil refineries in the US, where it gets refined and then gets either sent back to Canada for usage, or it's used in the US, or is sent down to other countries. So it does the same thing with Mexico. So all the Mexican oil is imported into the US, then refined, and then some of it is sent back to Mexico, and then the others is used within the US or sent to South America. So all that oil demand, even though there is a lot of summer demand right now, which will taper off, I would say in another 2, 3, 4 weeks max, but the fall and winter is going to be a recession in the US, and that's what all the indicators are pointing towards. And what is my favorite indicator that I look at for recession forecast is the yield curve inversion. Okay, here you're looking at a chart of 10-year bond yield minus the 2-year yield. So every time, so right now the yields are inverted. So what does that tell me? That the 10-year is yielding less than what 2 years is yielding. So all the recessions, you can see all the recessions are in gray. So what happens prior to these recessions? The yield, the curve, the difference, which is the which you call the yield curve, which is the difference between the 10-year and the 2-year, starts to move higher. Okay, so that's what happened in early 90s. That's what happened in late 2000s. That's what happens in early 2000s. Then the late 2000s, the great financial crisis. And look what's happening now. So even just before COVID, we had a little bit of a recession. But look how deep this curve is and how fast it's moving up. And as soon as we are going to hit, say, second half of this year, third quarter, fourth quarter, beginning of fourth quarter, this recession is going to hit, and it's going to hit very, very badly, because the curve is greater than all of the ones going all the way back to 1980s and 1970s. That's where we had much more severe recessions, one after the other. So next recession, in my opinion, looking at this chart, is going to be very severe. It is going to be long lasting. It's not going to be a V-shaped recession. It's going to be more of a U-shaped recession where we're gonna fall hard, and then we're gonna be bottom hunting for many months, if not a year and a half, before we start to move back up. So there's a lot of implications on our trading. So we at Edge Forex are already preparing for that. I think Dani asked that question a few weeks ago that, hey, are we going into a recession? Answer now is chances are 90+% yes, we are in a recession. If not, we are going to be in a recession very shortly. So that said, US recession is going to affect Canadian dollar in a very negative manner. Other thing is Canada is, if that was not alone enough for Canadian dollar to weaken, Canadian society as a whole is declining at a very fast pace because the birth rate in Canada for the new child is like only 1.4. So every two people in Canada, they are only creating, per couple, a male and a female couple, they are only creating 1.4 children. So that means the population is shrinking, and the population is growing old at a very rapid pace. And what they're doing to maintain this and to make that ratio better, they've opened the floodgates for immigrants, and the quality of the immigrants is getting poorer and poorer by the day. So they are not doing any background checks. They are letting anybody and everybody in who wants to come to Canada and who wants to be dependent on the social system. And the social systems is crumbling like anything. So the gap again between the rich and the poor is getting greater and greater. So there are millions of immigrants coming in, but there is no housing. So what do people do now? So they are living on the streets. They are living in the tents. And then some greedy landlords in the big cities, they have the basements. They have divided their basement into like 20 little cubby holes, and then they're renting out beds. So that's not what Canada used to be 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. So the productivity in Canada is the lowest of any developed nation. So that says a lot. So Canadian dollar, in our opinion, is doomed. So long term, if you are making any positions, so let's quickly look at the Canadian dollar USD CAD chart. Okay, guys. All right. So this is the 1 hour chart. I want to go out a little. So let's look at 4 hour chart. Okay, guys. So look at this chart. It's telling us a story here that it's been this line in the sand, which is around 139, 150. Sorry, not 150, 139 and a half. Say 140. Let's round it up. Make it 140. Guys, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So over the last year and a half, 2 years, USD CAD has tried to break this line 1, 2, 3, 4 times. This is going to be the 5th time. Is it the charm? I think so. And once it breaks this, guys, 500 pips, 600 pips is going to be easy. And I'm waiting for that 139 break. We are going to be building our position. Actually, we have started building some small positions. I came out with that update earlier in the week. So do me a favor, go to edge.forex and join that Discord and keep a tab on. You will get, once you join the server, you will get notified anytime I come out and add something to the market analysis channel, because this is where I'm going to be posting everything, all the latest news. I post there 2, 3, 4 times a day, sometimes even more, sometimes less, depending on how the markets are doing. So there is a lot of good material for you guys to read, a lot of good materials for you guys to listen to. So make sure you guys join and have a sneak peek into our channels and our server that we have. We're not live yet, so please do not think that this is the end product. This is not. This is just a sneak peek. We are still working on the 3 more channels, or actually 4 more channels, the high load, middle load, low load. We're not finished yet. We are still working. It's a work in progress. This is just for you to give you a sneak peek on what our analysis is going to look like, on what some of the content is going to look like that we are going to send out. So we are also working on some really good content around Forex trading and the philosophy behind it. See, other than putting a little pieces here and there on what the markets are doing on a particular day, we are working on a content that is going to go take Forex markets and literally pull it apart piece by piece. And we are going to cover every single piece in extreme detail, like even a 13-year-old can easily understand it. And that is exactly what we are going to do. We are going to get a 13-year-old on the other side, and we are going to try and create content so that 13-year-old can learn it live. So we'll have literally a 13-year-old that we will be training how to trade Forex. And if that 13-year-old can be a successful Forex trader, say in a matter of, say, 4 to 6 months, I think anybody can be. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be coming out next week. It's going to be more like a collaboration. If you guys think that's going a little too juvenile, if you guys don't like that, we'll change. We'll work with you guys, and we'll work with how you want this channel to be. How do you want this server to be? Because it's everybody's input. So we are doing a lot of brainstorming, and we are trying to make things as easy and as user-friendly as possible, so everybody benefits out of it, everybody learns something out of it, and then we start to collaborate and communicate, and then make it a nice, fun place, which is just fun to be, and you can meet other like-minded people, have a conversation about anything and everything, weather, politics, I don't know, wars that are going on, Putin and whatever. We can have all those kind of discussions as long as our focus is not shifted from the basics and from our core, which is Forex trading, and make sure we are hitting the market and make sure we are extracting that profit that we need from these markets, because these are trillion-dollar markets, guys. All we are after is the little drops or droplets, and we are happy. Yeah, I'm not here say, hey, we're going to become rich overnight. Even though we are calling ourselves Road to a Million, doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight, because we have 3 different paths, and they're all starting at different levels. One is starting at 1,000, other is at 10,000, the third one is over 50,000. So it's going to take different amount of time for all these roads to reach to that $1 million mark. But one thing is for certain, that we will reach there. That I have no doubts. I just want to make sure I bring along with me as many traders as possible and create a community out of it. So it'll give me and edge.forex as a company some sense of accomplishment and purpose to do what we are doing here. And it'll keep us in check. It'll keep us honest. And that's very, very important for me, because if we are wavering, I want you guys to tell me that, hey, this is what we think you are doing wrong, and we will change path for sure. So that said, let's open it up for any questions or any concerns or anything else you would like me to cover. Donnie, yes. Go ahead, Donnie. How are you, man?
Hi, doing good here.
Okay.
Well, I just wanted to know a little bit more, or maybe in some other occasion, about the treasury bonds inversion that you were mentioning, because I've heard from that before, and I think it's interesting how it's related with the S&P. And so, thank you.
It is. Yeah, I will. Why don't I do this? I will create a piece and I'll put it on Discord, so it's there for everybody.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, yeah, I'll definitely do that. It is very interesting. It is such a good predictor of recessions. Not a whole lot of other things, but recessions. And I'll try and make it as simple and as easy to follow as possible. I'll do that. Rove, Seeing you after a few weeks. How are you?
Hello.
Yes, Joe. Go ahead. Welcome.
Yeah. So I want you to do an analysis of goals.
Of
Let's
what?
see where it's going presently. Also, I don't think they are 13-year-olds here, but if they are, it will be nice to have it tailored towards the 13-year-olds.
Ro, you're cutting in and out. There's a lot of disturbance. Can you please repeat that? What analysis you want me to cover?
Gold short term, where is it going towards?
Oh, gold, short and long term. Okay. I can, yeah. I'll do a piece on gold, and I'll do a piece on yield curve on the yield curve, and I'll put them both on our Discord. Have you joined Discord yet?
Yes, I've
Okay,
joined
yeah.
Discord.
Okay, perfect. So I will put the piece on. You'll get a notification on those two pieces. I'll try and do it before the weekend is over. Both on gold and what? Because if you want, you can look up. Yeah, if you look at the very first piece that I did was for the first piece or was it one of the second pieces? First or second piece was on gold and one of the gold stocks that I did a piece on. But I will do another analysis on gold, where I think it's headed in the short term, where it's headed in the long term, and I'll put it out before the weekend is over, both for yield curve and for gold. All right, guys. So if that's everything, yeah. Let's call it a day. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you, guys. Bye.
All right, thank you. Have a nice day.
You too.